Welcome to God's Plan, chosen for such a time as now. This is session 4, the video tutorial for the self-reflection part that starts on page 74. I told you in the last video that we are getting ready to move out of anything in the past. We're going to put that in perspective and move into our daily walk and the things that we need to do. In order for us to do that, though, we need to make sure that we properly surrender those things that we need to surrender and let go of strongholds that will prevent us from living a life a fulfilling life. I want to read just the first little bit of paragraph on this section because I think it really tells you what we are going to work on in this self-reflection. It says, strongholds are deeply ingrained patterns of thought and behavior that hold us back from experiencing a fulfilling life. These can take many forms, such as addiction, fear, insecurity, unforgiveness, shame, or pride. They can be rooted in past traumas, cultural conditioning, or negative self-talk. The dangers of these bunkers that we've dug for ourselves is that they keep us entrenched in patterns of conduct that are harmful to ourselves and others. They create separation between God and us, shelter us from spiritual growth, and hinder our God-giving abilities. They shield us from God's expansive love and favor and make us feel unworthy. So that is what strongholds are, and this particular section, we want to concentrate on how we can demolish those strongholds. So this is one of those sessions that I want you to really set yourself for like 3 days, that for the next 3 days, I'm going to really concentrate on strongholds. And I'm going to concentrate on how to get rid of strongholds. I really want you to focus some time on this because as Esther in chapter 4, as Esther had to take time, she fasted, she thought about it, and she surrendered. That's what we need to do. As we surrender, we need to take time to count the cost on what we're doing and understand that what we are doing is we are giving up those things not to have a unfruitful life, but we are giving up those things that shield us from God's love and favor and make us feel unworthy. If we want to live a daily life that is productive and satisfying and fulfilling, we don't want to walk through it without understanding God's love for us. We don't want to walk through it feeling unworthy. So take a lot of time on this particular section here. You will see on page 75, it talks about disciplines that you can do to help you get rid of strongholds that will actually demolish them. And I want you to practice each of these disciplines. We're not going to go into it because I want you to read it and study it and practice it. So I want you to do those. They're all very important. And then I want you to go ahead and on pages the next pages after that, go ahead and fill in all of those areas, all of those questions, answer them, get a full broad picture of how your strongholds affect your daily life so that you can understand that it's most important to surrender those. After you do that, I want you to go ahead and make sure that you go to page 80 of your book, and I want you to fill in some of those I am statements. See, the enemy speaks to you as if you are in bondage. If you are a child of God, God has given you freedom, but the devil doesn't want you to understand that. Remember, the devil wants to undermine anything that you do. He wants to undermine God's authority. So he's going to want you to make you think that you are in bondage. But God is always there to remind you of your freedom. So on page 80, after you have taken several days to really think about your strongholds and taking time to work on those disciplines that's talked about in this section, then go ahead and celebrate by understanding the difference between how the enemy speaks to you and how God does. Also, I just might want to mention that you've probably noticed in these sessions that there is a journal, a page to journal at the end of each of them. I haven't even mentioned that before, but if you haven't been doing that, it's important to go ahead and journal so that as we get further on down, we're only in session 4, as we get further on down, you'll have some more referencing to go back on what your thought process was on these particular sessions. So that's all I have for you. It is a lot of self-reflection in this area, that it is questions that only you can answer as far as what your life is, how you should surrender, and what your strongholds are. So I'll be praying for you through this section, and I'll see you in session 5.